Alright, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to make up some salsa. Thought I'd tell you is I've been making this salsa for years and years, and it's taken me years and years to get this salsa to where it's supposed to be. And everybody loves this salsa. Anywhere I go, everybody's always asking me to make it. I give them the recipe. They still want me to make it. I don't know. It's kind of like somebody else making you a sandwich. It's always better when somebody else makes it. So anyway, without further ado, I'm going to show you how to make this salsa, and I promise you're going to love it. Alright, so what you're going to need is you're going to need a half an onion diced. I used a Vidalia onion. You could use a sweet onion. You can use a red onion. You can use any kind of onion you want. I don't like onion to overpower my salsa, so I'm using a Vidalia. And a lot of times if I can't find a Vidalia, I'll use a sweet. You're going to need a 28 ounce can of diced tomatoes. When you use this, you're going to use the juice as well. You're going to need 2 teaspoons of salt, and you're going to need 1 heaping teaspoon of cumin. You're going to need a big thing of garlic. That's probably about 3 or 4 cloves of minced garlic. You're going to need 2 tablespoons of white distilled vinegar. And you're also going to need some jalapenos. I'm going to go out to my garden and get those now. I usually use about 2 jalapenos, but it pretty much just depends on what you want, how spicy you want it. Start out, I would recommend doing 2 of them. And what I normally do is I'll roast them on in the oven or on the grill, and I'll roast both of them, and I'll put one in there and blend it all up and it kind of taste it. If it's too spicy or not spicy enough, I'll add more. So you're gonna need a blender too, or some other kind of chopping device. So another thing that I usually will add in here sometimes is some fresh cilantro. I don't put that in there all the time. It just depends. I don't have any. But I'm going to send my wife to the store. She's going anyway. I'm going to have her get some. What I'll do is I'll just take a bunch, like not a whole thing, but maybe just a handful of cilantro. Rinse it off really good, chop it real finely, and then I'll just kind of mix it in there. And then, boom, you get that fresh green taste too. But it's still good without it. And you don't have to put them in the oven. You can do them like this. Just put them on the skewer and roast them up. Skewers. Wet the skewer before so you don't burn it all up. Works out nice. Yeah, it's pretty smart, huh? You think I did that? No, my wife did. She's the one that came up with that idea. Alright, so add your jalapenos first. Alright, and then just add a little bit of tomatoes in there. So give it a little bit of liquid. And you want to puree, well, not puree it, but just kind of blend it up a little bit first. That way your salsa doesn't turn to mush. So what after I do this, I've already chopped my onions, so that way when I put this in there, I pretty much just got to pulse it a few times and the sauce is ready, because I like my salsa a little chunky. Alright, that's mixed up pretty good, so now you want to add the rest of your tomatoes in there. Spices, garlic, vinegar. Woo! And lastly, your onions. Now, one thing I must say too is I like to, after I char my jalapenos up, I kind of like to leave them with the skin on and leave that the burnt flesh on there too. It kind of gives it like a smoky flavor, a very slight smoky flavor. So after you do that, just pulse it. You're basically just pulsing it enough to mix everything together. There it is. And this stuff is better the next day. There you go. Perfect. Perfect. Always check it. See the consistency there? Yum. Jax's salsa. Do it. As always, I'm always fucking burning myself.